I want you to understand a few of them here now that we're going to get into. One of the things that they realize is you can't have any more ghost gunmen. Now, that ain't gonna work. Can't have any more ghost gunmen. Because you see, you've got to give people the impression that you solved the crime. Why, if you've got suspects in custody, if you were able to grab the gunman, then that's all you need to do. So what that is meant to do is to discourage you. It's meant to satisfy your need for justice and your need to avenge. And well, if we throw some sacrificial lambs out there, well then, that was supposed to, then that's supposed to get you off the trail and make you say, well, we've done enough. Understand that. That's supposed to get you off the trail and have you saying, well, we've done enough. That's what it's supposed to do. That's what it's supposed to do. But just understand, the first thing it's supposed to do here is they're supposed to throw out some sacrificial lambs and have you say, okay, well, you know, we caught some folks, so if we caught them, well, isn't that enough? Isn't that all we need to do? Long as we did that, we've done enough. So just understand, this is supposed to tie things up in a nice, cute, pretty little bow, and we're supposed to see this happen, and then we're supposed to say, okay, well, it's a shame they got him, but, quote, at least we got the killers. That's what it's supposed to make us think. That's how we're supposed to respond. That's what we're supposed to say. We're supposed to say, well, they caught the folks who did it, so that's it. And you don't dig any deeper. You don't go any further. See, we're used to, situations like with Dr. King or James Earl Ray or whatever, that the killers just go away. But what they realize, the black folk don't let these things go. So what they've done now is, okay, we're going to send in killers, but we're going to have to sacrifice. We're going to have to send them in. It's going to be a one-way mission is what it's going to be. And when they get grabbed, when they get nabbed, it's not going to be something that you can readily trace back to us. So you got bodies in custody, but it's not going to be something that immediately comes back to us. I want to remind you all of the murder of mafia boss Joe Colombo. Now, for those of you who know your mafia history, at the time that occurred, Joe Colombo was the leader of the Colombo mafia family, and he was involved in a war with another mobster named Joey Gallo. Now, Joey Gallo was a guy who had connections. He was a guy who knew other people. He was a guy who knew other folks. Matter of fact, Joey Gallo knew Nicky Barnes. So just understand that. Joey Gallo's thing was that he was an Italian mobster, but he was an Italian mobster who had black allies, who had black friends, who had black associates. He understood the value of getting mobbed up with black folk. He understood that. That was Joey Gallo. Well, when Joey Gallo wanted to kill Joe Colombo at the time, he had started like an Italian civil rights league. And because Italians were being targeted by the government for all their criminal doings, he wanted to make it a civil rights issue. Yeah, even the mafia, the white feminists, even the Italian mafia tried to jump on civil rights to defend themselves. Well, when black people were pushing for civil rights, The Italians, Joe Colombo, a mafioso, did the same thing. Now, a lot of other mafiosos didn't like it because they're like, you being too damn public and we supposed to be on the hush hush. But that's what he was doing. So a lot of folk have tried to hijack what we were doing. And it was at a public event downtown, and Joey Colombo was assassinated in broad daylight. But he was assassinated by a black man in broad daylight. They caught the fella at the scene. I want to say they killed him, but it was at a rally with hundreds of people out there. And it was a black assassin. Now, here's the thing. They caught him. They did what they did to him. But Joey Gallo wasn't stupid. Because the whole intention was to say, hey, you can't blame me. It wasn't like it was another Italian who did it. You can't blame me. I ain't have nothing to do with it. Can't you see? You caught the gunman. How you gonna sit here and blame me? I'm an Italian mobster. All my friends are Italians, man. How you gonna sit here and point the finger at me? How you gonna point the finger at me? Can't you see? The damn suspect has been caught right over here. Can't blame me. Why, everything has been taken care of and tied up in a nice, neat little bow. So, you can't blame me for it. I mean, hey, you got the guy, didn't you? Too bad he's dead. Too bad he's dead. So I want you to understand, in case you didn't think this has historical precedent, yeah, it does. Especially when people don't want folks asking a bunch of questions later. There'll be sacrificial lambs. People, when you've got dozens of sacrificial lambs, for Joey Gallo, it took a bunch of money to get one sacrificial lamb. To have dozens of them, brothers and sisters from around the world, that requires a government. That doesn't require just greasing a few palms. To pull off something like 9/11, that requires a government. To pull off something like this, to get this many people to be sacrificial lambs for something, people don't sacrifice their lives for less than something that they are completely and totally devoted to. A government, a religion, a belief system. I want you to understand that. So when you start seeing these kinds of things happen, just understand it's not coming from nowhere. It's coming from somewhere. It's coming from a place you've seen before. Now, what I want to do here is I want to discuss this article. There was an article in the BBC. As you can see, Jovenel Moïse, foreign hit squad killed Haiti's president, police say. And talking about the police say. We got the damn suspects here, but talking about the police say. The article says a group of 28 foreign mercenaries, including retired Colombian soldiers, assassinated Haiti's president Jovenel Moïse earlier this week, police say. After a gun battle in the capital Port-au-Prince, 17 were detained, some at the house they were using, others after entering Taiwan's diplomatic compound. So isn't that interesting? They were hoping to get diplomatic immunity. 3 suspects were killed by police and 8 are still being sought. Now, folks, you've seen this before in Mexico, in Colombia, where they armed them and basically armed them to shoot their way out, is what they do. They arm them to shoot their way out. That you shoot your way in and then you shoot your way out. But for them to go do this, yeah, this is the kind of thing that needs government sponsorship. This needs government organizing. The article goes on to say, bloodied and bruised, arrested suspects were shown to the media on Thursday along with a slew of seized weapons. It is still unclear who organized the attack and with what motive. Well, folks, follow the money. As with anything in life, just understand they are going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that you do not follow the money. Who paid them? Who paid these Colombians to go to Haiti, a place that is completely outside their sphere of influence? Who paid them to do that? It's not a spot that drug dealers need. They're able to get to America just fine. They don't need Haiti as a port to get to America. That's a damn logistical problem. They've already got access to America. So that's not the answer. So who benefits from continuing and sowing and cultivating absolute chaos in Haiti? Who benefits? Who benefits? Understand, the American media and everybody else, they're going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that we do not follow this back where it goes. They're going to fight tooth and nail to make sure that we do not follow this back to where it goes. They're going to make sure that we do not discuss that at all. But we all know the Western powers, the US, France, anything connected to that, including Canada, they benefit from a destabilized Haiti. They always have. They have always had their fingers meddling in Haiti. So the people who have historically benefited, those are the ones who still benefit. They go on to say, also unclear is who is in charge of the country. Well, so it's not clear who organized the attack, but now that you killed the president, it's not clear who's in charge of the country. Well, isn't that the way the United States always operates? Chaos, chaos, chaos. If there is chaos, then you get to control things. They are always in the business of cultivating absolute chaos. Because in a world that is ruled by white supremacy, if you aren't in charge, by default, they are. On Friday, a group of political parties added to that uncertainty by nominating a president, although how much legitimacy that has is unknown. The attack took place in the early hours of Wednesday, when gunmen broke into the president's home in Port-au-Prince, shooting him dead and wounding his wife. Mr. Moïse, 53, was found lying on his back with 12 bullet wounds and a gouged eye, according to authorities. Martin Moïse, 47, was seriously wounded and is in stable condition after being flown to Florida for treatment. Folks, shot him in the head 12 times. Now, we all know what that means, don't they? We all know what that means. When you shoot somebody this many times, we all know what that means. We shot in the head multiple times. That means that they were instructed, if you leave and he's not dead, all of you will be. Now, the other thing is, because this is Colombia, what does that also mean? The gunmen, are their families being held hostage? If so, by whom? Understand something. For this many guys to go there, there's not really going to be enough money in the world that makes you go on a one suicide mission like that. So the first question I have is, where are these guys' families? Because that's usually the way the game is played. The way the game is usually played is, if you don't go on the hit, your whole damn family dies. So it's a one-way trip for you, but it can either be a one-way trip for you or a one-way trip for your whole damn bloodline. So, y'all better load up the boat and get to work. Because that's the get down. With no way to trace it to the U.S. government, because we all know that the U.S. government has not used Colombia as its proxy for so many dirty dealings. Don't we? Iran-Contra, anybody? Pablo Escobar, anybody? Yeah, we all know the U.S. government has never done nothing like that. In the chat room, you're absolutely right. CIA operation, anybody? but that is the U.S. government. You get the idea. Yeah. 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 Now, the article goes on to say police said the hit squad included mainly Colombians, along with 2 Haitian Americans. No word if Roland Martin was involved. Found in the suspect's possession were firearms, sets of U.S. dollar bills. I think I just said a few moments ago, follow the money. Found in the suspect's possession were firearms, sets of U.S. dollar bills, the president's personal checkbook, and the server that held surveillance camera footage from his home. Newspapers reported. Taiwan confirmed that 11 of the suspects were arrested after breaking into a courtyard at its compound. Angry civilians had joined the search for the gunman and helped police track down some who were hiding in bushes. The crowd set fire to 3 of the suspects' cars and destroyed evidence. Really? Police Chief Leon Charles called for calm, saying the public should not take the law into their own hands. At the news conference on Thursday, police showed reporters Colombian passports. Quote, "Foreigners came to our country to kill the president," Mr. Charles said, as the suspect sat on the floor behind him in handcuffs. Colombia's government has pledged to assist Haiti with this investigation efforts. Colombian Police Director General Jorge Luis Vargas said 17 former Colombian soldiers were thought to be involved. The U.S. State Department, meanwhile, said it could not confirm if any of its citizens had been detained. So isn't that amazing? The Colombian government was already giving out information, but the U.S. government saying, we don't really know if anybody, we can't really tell you nothing. So U.S. money in the place that the U.S. is historically meddled in, and as soon as folks started asking questions, everybody else is disclosing information except that U.S. government. All of a sudden, we don't speak, Haitian, can't really tell you nothing. Let us know if you find anything else out, but yeah, can't really help you there. Can't really help you. Okay. However, U.S. and Canadian media are reporting that one of the dual citizens arrested, James Salages, by the way, they don't have any problem talking about him, huh? So understand, this is the misdirection we're talking about here, folks. These are the faces of the assassins. Dozens of them. This is what the Haitian news media is showing. But when you come back to America, the white-owned media, this is what they're showing you here. Folks, you better recognize how deep this is. If you want to know who they want you to look at, understand something. These guys from Colombia, they're all nameless and faceless, but the one or two black folk involved, we know everything you need to know about them. Yeah, can't tell you anything about the Colombians, but we know about plenty of these black folk right here. Yeah, we sure does. Are you understanding and seeing the game here? Are you understanding and seeing the game? So while I'm up here telling you, you do realize that 23 of these folk, this is the face of the folk who did the killings here. These are the faces of the ones who did the killing all over the damn place. But when the white media in America speaks, that Western media, this is what they show you. The face of the black president with us. Take a look at this thing. I mean, the picture on your screen right now is a textbook example of propaganda. Textbook example. This is how propaganda works. Take a look at the anatomy of this. They show you, this is a visual aid meant specifically to steer your thinking. A picture of the black Haitian president with the words at the top in big red and white letters, but red, that's what they really want to catch your attention. Assassination suspects. So even if you are watching this without looking, even if you are watching this, from another place. Even if you're watching that from another place, just understand what they're doing. Just understand, even if you're watching this from another place, if you are watching this and walking through a hotel and we're not looking, if you couldn't hear what was going on in the CBS News, you would see this. Assassination suspect, U.S. citizen from Florida, showing his face. Okay, but let's take a look at everything else. Because if you couldn't actually see what it was, if you couldn't hear any of this, I want you to take a look at what you see here. If you couldn't actually hear anything, take a look at what it was if you were just passing by and couldn't hear nothing. You might, if you don't know Haiti from anywhere else, now take a look. They cleared the screen. Did you see that? Now take a look over here. When they brought them in the room with this grainy ass video footage, when they brought them in the room, we got their heads turned from the cameras. We do one quick pan here, but as soon as they show the clear pictures, take a look at what happens at the bottom of the screen. The description goes away. Take a look at what happens here. Oh, when you're showing the clear pictures, all of a sudden you left this up here right up until it was time to zoom in and show the faces. And so you didn't restore that until way later. But take a look. When it was time to show you crystal clear pictures, close-ups, all of a sudden, we don't want to do that no more. And then when you fast forward, there's the president. And if you're watching this without saying, oh, well, I'll be damned, he must be the ringleader. I mean, they got all the information on him. All of a sudden, wow, he must be the ringleader. Do you all see how this is going here? Am I making this up? Am I making this up? In the chat room, if you say crisis actors, your ass will be out of here. Don't play any games around here. These are not actors. This is the real damn thing. Don't play any games in my room. Don't play any games in my room. This is the real damn thing. If you want somebody to dissect a psychological op for you, here I am. And I want you to see how your corporate media establishment went straight to work to characterize this and frame this. So when they were showing you the actual suspects, they were like, okay, let's be indirect about this. When they had the words on the screen, they moved on past that real damn quick. But when they showed the pictures up close, they removed that. So now you're not really sure what you're seeing. I mean, I see folk in handcuffs, but you removed that. Right when it was time to show their pictures, you removed it. Right when it was time to do that. And that's not accidental. And then when it's time to talk about the one black suspect that you could find, all of a sudden big bold letters. Big bold letters. So understand how propaganda works. Understand that when somebody goes to these extremes, when someone goes to these lengths to characterize something, we of our generation, we can't be simple-minded like the ones who came before here. We have to understand. This is how deep in the game they are. This is how far off into it they are. We can't afford to be simple-minded about this. We have to recognize what we're looking at. We got to recognize what we're looking at here. We have to recognize that everybody's in on it. The government, the foreign embassies, hell, elements in Haiti, Colombia, the American, the white news media, everybody's in on it. Everybody's in on it. They're all in on it. Just recognize they're all in. That's the whole point I want you to see. It's not just a one-off. It says an investigating judge told local media that Mr. Salages Take a look here. According to the CBS Evening News, he's the only one. By the way, do you all listen to how much they got to say about him, by the way? Because remember, it said Colombia's government has pledged to assist Haiti with its investigation efforts. The U.S. State Department, meanwhile, said it could not confirm if any of its citizens have been detained. However, U.S. and Canadian media are reporting that one of the dual citizens arrested, James Lages, 35, is from Florida and was a former bodyguard at the Canadian Embassy in Haiti. Well, that connected things real quick. The U.S. and Haiti, and by the way, we all know the French elements in Canada. We all know the French elements, the French history, the French influence in Canada. So I would be remiss if I did not put France in clear focus, by the way. Now it says an investigating judge told local media that Mr. Salages and the other U.S. citizen named as Joseph Vincent had said they were there as translators for the mercenaries after finding the job on the internet. Now, I don't know if there is a picture of Mr. Vincent. I don't know if there is. Hadn't seen a whole lot about that. By the way, I just thought it was very interesting in that regard that the CBS News was willing to talk about one person in this regard. I'm waiting to see if there is a picture of Mr. Vincent somewhere. That's what I've been looking for. I've been looking for, the picture of Mr. Vincent. I'm pretty sure he's probably black too. That's the reason why I'm looking for it. I want to say that. I'm pretty sure. If this is what's going on here, it's like, if you're naming him, it's probably because he's black. Probably because he's black. Okay, just did a very quick search on that, and it appears so. Yes, it certainly does appear so, doesn't it? Certainly does appear that way. So, yeah. Yeah, that would seem to straighten that out now, doesn't it? Yeah, that seems to do that. Understand, folks, they only play dumb about these things. They only play dumb about these things. Let me go ahead and get that up for you all here. This is from the New York Post. And as you can see from the title here, take a look. Do you see the same thing everywhere now? I think this is Salages and Joseph here. So they made sure to go ahead and get them up front and center. Hi, fellas, you're here for your close-up. So, yeah, I think they're passing these two off here and saying these are their translators. Okay, off the screen with all that. And once again, take a look at what the New York Post is doing here, because propaganda moves along a certain methodology. So, once again, notice what they're doing here. Now, when we get to the Colombians, you notice they're getting to the Colombians, and when they get to the Colombians, do you notice what doesn't happen when you get to the Colombians? Take a look at the pictures of all the Colombians they have on here. Now, when they showed the two black suspects, you notice what they did? Why, they did the exact same thing that CBS did. They put the face of the Haitian Prime Minister right next to them. Did you notice that? Did you notice that they put his face right next to them? Again. So when they're letting you know what they want you to focus on. Now, these two guys, by everybody's accounts, they weren't gunmen. They were not even actual gunmen. The actual gunmen, however, they show you with police with their faces covered up. They didn't sit up here and stick the president's face on here next to the Colombians. They didn't do that. Did you notice that? Matter of fact, they went out of their way not to show the Colombians with any black people around them. Folks, that's not accidental. That is not accidental. This is deliberate. When they show the Colombians on you, they may, okay, don't show them with any black folk. They're just, these are pictures with no context. These are pictures with zero context. No context at all. They're just pictures. No context. But they wanted to make sure when you saw the black fellas here, oh, there's going to be context. There is going to be context. So that tells you that this is the real message that they want to send. They don't want you focusing on this other stuff. They got a different message that they want you to focus on. They want you to focus on the real message that they're trying to get at. Follow the money, follow the images, and you can very easily see what they want you to focus on. Very simple to see. Now, the article goes on to say, an investigating judge told local media that Mr. Salages and the other U.S. citizen named as Joseph Vincent had said that they were there as translators for the mercenaries after finding the job on the internet. Quote, the mission was to arrest President Jovenel Moïse and not to kill him, Judge Clement Noel told Le Noveliste. The U.S. said on Friday it was sending FBI and Department of Homeland Security officials to Haiti following the nation's request for help in the investigation. Yeah, I'm sure the people of Haiti are demanding liberators at this time, just like the folks in Iraq did. Now, folks, did you hear this part here? It said the mission was to arrest President Moïse, not to kill him. Really? Sounds like the court's in on that too. Colombian daily El Tiempo said that it had seen confidential documents that named the Colombian suspects. The paper's research suggests that 4 of them flew from Colombia to the Dominican Republic on June 4th. They crossed by land from there into Haiti 2 days later. The 2 countries share the island of Hispaniola. According to El Tiempo, Colombian intelligence has seen photos posted on social media by members of the group showing them posing at a popular tourist spot in the Dominican Republic. People, that sounds like deep ops to me. So what you're on a hit squad, but you are deliberately posting pictures of yourself in the Dominican Republic. So this just sounds like to me our entire purpose here is misdirection. We're here to get focused in every different direction. Misdirection everywhere. Understand that. So look at all the black folk around here. Never mind us. The killing has triggered some civil unrest in Haiti, the poorest nation in the Americas. Thank you to the BBC for pointing that out. Without pointing out, I wonder if they're going to point out why that is, by the way. I wonder if the BBC is going to point out why that is. If Haiti is the poorest nation in the Americas, and by the way, it says in the Americas, Haiti is not a part of America, by the way. Haiti is an independent nation. Haiti is not a part of the Americas. So you cannot compare its standing to, quote, the Americas. Haiti is not a part of the Americas. So even for those of you who thought the BBC might be all right for once, no, they're not. No, they're not. A state of emergency remains in force across the country while the Dominican Republic has closed its border. That didn't stop those guys from getting into Haiti. Who is in charge of Haiti? Well, what do you know? Just like everybody else, they're asking who's in charge, who's running things. Yeah, we could discuss the news, but we really want to talk about who's in charge. So you see, when the U.S. goes in and selects somebody or installs somebody, well, you got to understand it was chaos down there and nobody was running anything. Well, how do you know that? Why, the BBC told me. Why, the BBC told me. They told me that. They told me that. They told me. Absolutely, they told me. They told me. Now it says the situation has been unclear and is getting murkier. In this particular situation, the Constitution says the National Assembly should choose another president, but disputes meant that elections scheduled for October 2019 did not take place, and Mr. Moïse had been ruling by decree amid widespread protests. Amendments to the Constitution, not accepted by everyone, suggest the Prime Minister should be the next one to take over. But Haiti has both an interim Prime Minister, Claude Joseph, and a new appointee, Ariel Henry, who has yet to be sworn in. Both are claiming to be in charge. On Friday, a group of political parties signed a resolution proclaiming a new president, Joseph Lambert, with Mr. Henry acting as his prime minister. The situation is doing little to resolve the political and economic instability that has long plagued the nation. That's the end of the article, without any discussion about how it is that Haiti has any instability. So what they would have you believe is that just Negroes getting together in a group leads to instability without any context. This is the manner in which they have always done things. If black folk get together in a group, oh, well, can't you understand? I mean, well, you're asking, well, what went wrong? Well, hell, isn't it obvious? They got together in a group. They got together in a group. So, if they get together in a group, then of course, it's going to be, chaos naturally. So we have to step in to clear that up. Now, we didn't have anything to do with it. Nothing at all. France's meddling for 2 centuries, nothing. No, had nothing to do with it. None whatsoever. United States meddling for over a century and a half. No, that's just all on you. Just all on you. That's all. All on you. We didn't have anything to do with that. Nope. If you all could have gotten it together, it would have been together, but you couldn't. So, hey, you need us to step in. You need us to step in. That's what we need to do. We got to step in here and get it together. Because you're not able to. That's the game. Just get that together. Just understand that's the game that they're playing. So they're characterizing the situation. They're telling you all these things. And then when you ask them, okay, well, what's the solution? Well, obviously the solution is to let the United States come in and fix things for you. That's what you need to do. Y'all need to fall back. Let the U.S. step in. Let the U.S. take over. Well, they're a lot more stable here. And let the U.S. see to it what needs to be done. Let the U.S. get that taken care of. It'll go easier and better that way anyway. Just let them do it. In the chat room, Haiti doesn't have to ask for help. The United States will just simply say they asked for it. And everybody's going to sit up here and pretend that that's what occurred. They're just going to tell you that everybody asked for it. Well, just trust me. I mean, they asked for help. They asked for it. So, I mean, it must be true. They asked for help. Trust me, we got a phone call from one of the cabinet ministers. Well, they've been asking for a lot more over the decades here. How you respond to just one dude? Oh, well, that's our guy in the cabinet. So, trust me, he said that they need help. So, yeah, we're going to go over there and get things straightened out for you. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go over there and get things straightened out. We're good for that. Folks, it's the same people who have always been causing problems. It is the same people who have always been causing difficulties. It is the same people who have always been leading to this. Same ones. All the time. All the time. You need to understand exactly why it is that you're seeing this over and over again. That it keeps coming back to Haiti, and now they've sent in a damn strike platoon, an assassination platoon for the purposes of overthrowing a government. What's so damn important? If Haiti is the poorest place, quote, in the Americas, what the hell did a strike platoon go there for? To go risk their lives to overthrow the poorest government in the Americas? To overthrow the poorest place in America? Folks, are you listening? Okay, if Haiti is the poorest place in the Americas, why would anybody spend this type of money, time, resources, logistics, sacrificing dozens of human beings over the poorest piece of land in the Americas? Folks, open your damn eyes. Does that make sense to you? This much fighting over somebody went to this kind of effort for something that's worthless? Come on now. Come on. You know better than this. That is not the way it goes. That is not the way it happens. Not now. Not ever. You don't sit up here and go to these lengths, sacrifice this much, give up this kind of ability. You don't do that for something that ain't worth nothing. You don't go to this type of effort and go to war and risk this much of life and limb for the poorest patch of dirt in the Western Hemisphere. You don't do that. You do this type of work if there is something valuable. You only go to this type of work and do this type of thing if it is valuable. That's the only time that you would sit up here and engage in that type of risk. There's something valuable there. There is something valuable, and they want you to understand. Y'all just go back to it and don't worry, there's chaos in Haiti. Oh, ain't you tired of hearing about Haiti? Well, don't worry, we'll take care of the rest for you. We'll take care of the rest. You let us handle this little world ruling thing. We'll take care of that. Y'all just sit back, be nice. We'll take care of the rest. If it doesn't seem to make sense to you, it's because it doesn't. Not when they say it like that. Not when they say it like that. But enough from me. The telephone lines are now open. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. Now I want you to go ahead and give us a call here as we discuss this. Haiti, the cause of the chaos. Haiti, a place that otherwise we're being told has no significance, certainly no financial value. And yet, over and over again, we're seeing these incursions. Over and over again, that's happening. Over and over again. Now, somebody has gone on an obvious psychological assassination op, an assassination psyop, for the purposes of misleading the world. They paid Colombians specifically for the purposes of distracting you from the racial element, from the geopolitical element. They grabbed individuals who have nothing to gain. Colombia has nothing to gain from attacking Haiti, which tells you that Colombians are being put up for the purposes of being the fall guys so that your attention is directed at them, but not directed at who sent them. And all I'm talking about now is who sent them. That's the question I'm asking. I'm asking a very simple question. Who goes there? But more importantly, who sent you? You were sent by somebody. And I don't know what it was that they did to entice you luckless beings into venturing to our shores. But if I'm interrogating them tonight, I'm interrogating them for one thing. Who sent you? Somebody sent you. They sent you, and they were somehow able to get you to risk everything. And you don't have an axe to grind against Haiti, which means you were sent by somebody. And I want to know who it was. That's the only question that Jason Black has tonight for you. But we're going to go ahead and open up the telephone lines here. The number is 646-787-1933. That's 646-787-1933. Your personal access code to the blackest radio program in existence, the only one of its kind on planet Earth today. You are, of course, as always, welcome to join us. Let's go ahead and take a few phone calls here. Let me get caller from area code 313. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's going on, JB? This is Coach Cheese from Detroit.
Coach Cheese from Detroit. What's on your mind?
Man, everything you said, you hitting the nail right on the head. We've seen this playbook before. We know what's going on. They're trying to get Haiti. And we know what government is doing this. Because it's like you said, why would they send the Colombians to attack Haiti? Haiti has nothing there. If Haiti has no resources over there, like they say, it's the poorest country, why are you attacking Haiti, period? It makes no sense, man. This is just ridiculous. And like I say, we know what government is doing this. Be one, brother. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for giving us a call tonight, Coach Cheese. Please do give us a call again.
Why would they send the Colombians?
Let me get caller from area code 614. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Jason. This is Sean from Ohio. And I've been listening to what you've been saying over the last half an hour.
Did you say John or Chung from Ohio?
Sean. Yeah, Sean.
Oh, Sean.
S-H-A-W-N.
Okay, Sean from Ohio. And what's on your mind, Sean?
Yeah. So I've been listening to what you're saying, and I just disagree with what you're saying about this guy. I mean, it's been well known that this guy has been a corrupt politician. He was a corrupt politician, reported for years about this guy. And here's the issue. Here's the problem, right? You see this endemic in African countries where rulers take over, they get elected, and they don't want to relinquish power. He had a constitution. That country has a constitution that he must abide by, right? So now he's in his 5th year, right? Folks don't want that. And as far as the Colombians, right? So this guy, it was well known that he was corrupt. To me, it's cut and dry. He did some shady business with Colombia, the wrong bad actors, and they came to get him.
Sean, for some reason, I'm sniffing the mayo. I'm sniffing. I smell the distinct aroma of mayo and gluten-free bars and yoga and Pilates classes. For some reason, I'm detecting the distinct aroma is what I'm detecting here.
Okay, so so you're saying that I'm white. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying you're white.
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not saying you're white.
Yeah.
I'm saying that.
So Jason,
clearly,
not everything is a conspiracy.
Okay.
Haiti has been a
I'm not saying you're white. I'm saying clearly is what I'm saying. I'm saying clearly, obviously, because what you're saying makes no damn sense, especially for a citizen of America.
I'm not white.
It is insane. Okay, it is insane for a citizen of America to talk about. Okay, sir, we're not going to talk over the host. We're not going to talk over the host. We're not going to do that. or I will dump your ass. So those are your options.
I'm sorry.
I'm hosting my program.
I'm sorry. That's bad decorum.
Okay, I'm hosting my program, so it's time for you to be quiet.
I humbly apologize.
Okay, Sean, humbly shut your ass up. That's what you do now. It is ridiculous for an American citizen to say the words corrupt government. That's insane. That's stupid beyond all measure. You live in a country with the most corrupt government on the planet. We talk about Colombian mercenaries. The United States has the largest mercenary army, the most powerful, well-equipped mercenary army on the face of the planet. Literally, we have been to the Gulf, the Middle East, knocking off governments left and right for the Saudis. Specifically, so they don't have to have a military. They literally told Saddam Hussein, if you don't the Saudis literally told him, if you mess with us, we're going to have the U.S. military come and get you. The guy was
corrupt. He did some bad dealing.
Sean, since Sean will not be quiet, Sean will be gone. Because you have to understand, when you're Mayo-splaining, Mayo understands that when we bring the focus back to the U.S. government, first thing they will, wait now. Okay, but that don't really matter. No, because the U.S. government is corrupt and rich, and they use their riches to corrupt other places and then claim, oh, well, because they're like that. It's just like with black folk. Malcolm X said they break your legs and call you a cripple. They break your wings and accuse you of not being able to fly. That's the way that they play that game. They go in, they cause the problems, and then they come in to supposedly supply you with the solution. The most corrupt government on earth that literally is owned by everybody, China made a virus, spread the virus, and the United States government is so corrupt that they went around saying, and don't call it the Chinese virus because the Chinese pay us so much. The U.S. is the most corrupt government on the planet. And this guy is talking about a little island. Meanwhile, I'm talking about, okay, let's focus on the corrupt regime that has powered all of these evils. He's talking about Haiti and Africa. The United States assassinated Patrice Lumumba, saw to the overthrowing of everyone from Idi Amin to Haile Selassie to Nelson Mandela. Truth be told, the United States was a big backer of apartheid until black folk made it stop. Shout out Dick Cheney. Shout out Dick Cheney and all your friends. But he's going to tell you, don't worry about that. That's not a factor. Every time we turn around, the white Western powers' hands are on everything. From Rwanda to South Africa to Nigeria. You show me a place where there is conflict among black folk, and I will show you where white control isn't very far away. And he wants to, well, no, what he's really trying to argue is, well, they want it like that. That's what it is. They want it like that. Colombia doesn't have any damn thing to do with Haiti. None whatsoever. You want to talk about conspiracy theory? This clown trying to claim that Haiti is somehow involved with Colombia for what? There's nothing to it. Well, I mean, Colombia's shady. Who made Colombia shady? Oh, the U.S. government. Who controls the Colombian government? The U.S. Who controls the Colombian government? The U.S. Pablo Escobar literally had to become one of the wealthiest men on the planet, specifically so that he could attempt to break the United States stranglehold of control of the Colombian government. If you all don't remember, Pablo Escobar had to be assassinated because he wanted to. His problem was that, wait a minute, the U.S. government is coming down here saying Colombian citizens can be extradited and whatnot for laws they ain't even breaking in Colombia. They want to extradite me to America. What I'm doing ain't illegal in Colombia. The U.S. is saying we want to extradite him for something that's not illegal in Colombia. It's illegal in America. We want y'all to allow us to extradite a citizen for a crime that is not being committed in Colombia. What he's doing is illegal in America. We want you to let us indict him for, I want you to drop him off and hand him over for that. It ain't illegal where you are, but it's illegal over here. So drop him off. And Pablo Escobar's like, wait a minute, what the hell happened to sovereignty? I'm a citizen. What the hell? The U.S. just comes down here and says, drop off your citizens and that's it? So that was the reason why he was like, oh, hell no, we got to get this government straightened out because y'all are just sitting up here. The U.S. runs the damn country. The U.S. runs the damn country. And furthermore, I stand by my point that Mr. Mayo-splaining on the line here was sitting up here talking about. Pilates Poindexter, who just got off the phone. Folks, when the U.S. government assassinates somebody, you can see the marks of it. You can tell when you're a brainwashed, whitewashed idiot. You can see that this has the fingerprints of typical U.S. techniques all over it. It has it all over it. These are typical U.S. techniques. You gotta really go overboard to try to figure out some way to take the attention off the U.S. in this regard. That takes a lot of damn work. You just have to be a person who just refuses to accept that because it's not to your benefit or whatever. But just understand, anybody who's been in the military recognizes that this has got the U.S.'s fingerprints all over it. Shout out Jason Reed in the chat room. My military people understand, this has got U.S. military operatives. To my people who've been working at this since the U.S. started hiring, quote, contractors, this has, take a look on your screen, take a look what these dudes are wearing. Some of them are wearing jeans, but the other ones, don't you see what they're wearing there? They're wearing those brown khakis that you associate with military contractors. Did you get that? They're wearing the brown khakis that you typically associate with the military contractors, folks. It's not a coincidence. Not a coincidence. So when you see this kind of stuff happening and you realize this is happening here and you start taking it seriously, then you recognize, oh, hell, yes. Yeah, that's what they're doing. This looks damn familiar. This looks damn familiar. Let me go ahead and show you another picture of it here. Bring it up on your screen there. Oh, what do you know? There you go again. Yeah, take a look. Take a look. Yeah, there you go. The typical uniform. There you go. There it is. No, don't worry. This is the way Colombians do things. Colombians dress for the desert, don't you know? Colombians generally dress for the desert. Anybody who's seen the Sandinistas or FARC or any of the Colombian rebels, you saw how they dressed. You can go online and Google it to see how they dressed. Take a look at these guys here. You know what the hell you're looking at. You go and take a look at the way the Colombian guerrillas, South American guerrillas usually dress. Take a look at the way they usually dress. Even to go into Haiti, they're not dressed like even Haitian paramilitary. They're dressed like U.S. contractors. And the jambalaya jackass who just got off the phone here, the Ohio orangutan, is going to tell you all, overlook this. Can't you see this? Why, this is Colombian. Can't you see? Why, isn't it obvious that this is Colombian? When we can see how Colombian paramilitaries do things. You can see how the Mexican cartels do things. You can see what they wear. They don't wear this. They don't wear this type of uniform. They don't wear things like this. I can tell you who does. By the way, even in the Middle East, after the U.S. has gotten a hold of them, they put them in the same color khakis. You know why? Because they need to be able to identify their own. And when they see you dressed like this, it is like anything else. We need to identify our people. So when you when you start dressing like this and you look like this, you are letting them know I'm one of theirs. So folks, know this is not me sitting up here trying to figure it out. I'm showing you the evidence sitting right here in front of you that, by the way, take a look at how they're dressed. They're so-called interpreters. Take a look at this. You've seen this before. You know this doesn't make sense. You know it ain't right. Well, they're going to wear lighter colored pants because, well, they're going into a hotter environment. Okay, I get that. But if the idea is lighter colored pants and hotter environment, why are they wearing black shirts then? He's wearing khaki pants and black shirts. Oh, that doesn't go along with the environment. Now, the two Haitians, take a look at the two Haitian fellas on the end. Well, when you take a look at them, makes a little more sense in their regard. Now, they're dressed a little bit more what you would consider to be consistent. It ain't till you get to the Colombians. All of a sudden, when you get to the Colombians, yikes. All of a sudden, take a look. We got a mismatch. They're dressed in black. Now, these guys down here, they got on blue jeans, denim jeans. That's a little closer. That's a little closer. Denim jeans, that's a little closer, but black shirts? Okay. Well, they were doing the operation at night. I understand that, but not necessary to wear black shirts under whatever you had on over it. So, just understand. Yeah, we get it. Yeah, we get it. Caller from area code 206. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, my name is Thomas. I'm calling from Plano, Texas.
Thomas from Plano, what's on your mind?
Right, but hey, I mean, America has always hated Haiti. I mean, as John Henry Clark pointed out, it was little Haiti that helped finance and assist these independence revolutions in Latin America. And to little Haiti, we can credit the abolition of Negro slavery in Central and Latin America, except, of course, America, Cuba, and Brazil. So they've always hated it. And unfortunately, your last caller forgot about the U.S. occupation of Haiti under Bill Clinton while he was staying in Monaco with his blue dress. They forgot about the fact that Colin Powell and Condoleezza Rice forced Jean Bertrand Aristide out of office in the aughts. They forgot about, to mention, the occupation of Haiti under Woodrow Wilson that lasted until the 1930s. There's always been a hatred, but the value is probably oil off of Haiti's coast, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's lithium located in the ground. So,
well, there's that, but there's also political significance. There is spiritual significance. As we have ignited the call for reparations and restorative justice, just understand Haiti is first in line for that. And I want to put a clear eye and focus on France. Yeah, we're talking about America, but notice I say the Western powers, but I should say the European powers. And I want to make sure that we stay very clearly focused. I got my eye on France. I'm saying France.
Yeah, Haiti.
What did you have to do with this?
Haiti was France's most valuable colony, and they were particularly brutal to the black Haitian slaves. So yeah, and the Haitians gave it to them good.
And France has had its fingers dabbling all over Africa. They made it very clear that without Africa, they would be a third world nation. They have certainly kept their fingers and their boots on the neck of Haiti up until recently. Remember, Haiti supposedly, since the revolution, didn't need to pay France a debt that they only finished paying off a couple of years ago, a damn century later. So understand, France has a lot of, and there's a lot of Haitians, unfortunately, who identify as French people. Unfortunately, we have to accept that reality. A lot of Haitian folk identify as being French. And so because of that, France understands there's a lot of Haitians over there who are still bootlicking and kowtowing. And if we can get some friendly people installed, maybe we can get it going back the way we want things going. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a caller from area code 347. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Peace and blessing. My name is Born Power from New York City.
Okay, what's your first name again?
Born, like born again.
All right, Born, what's on your mind?
Yeah, what I want to say is about Haiti. Everything you said was correct, especially what the last caller said. But the main issue what U.S. is trying to do is have Haiti change their constitution, change the constitution so Haiti can start allowing foreigners to own land. So this President Jovenel Moïse that was killed, he was a puppet of America. America just basically killed this puppet and have another one installed right now. So
here's the problem. Here's the problem with that. If he were still, and I've said before, you know, I don't trust any of these people they put there, and I understand people being suspicious. I am one of them. But I have one issue here. If Moises was really, if he was still up on their strings, why'd they kill him? Because just understand, they usually only do that when you start letting them know that, I ain't so sure I want to follow through on this. When you start back talking, when it starts becoming clear that you're starting to back talk and you starting to backslide, and it's like, he ain't as solid and reliable as we thought he was going to be, they move. I mean, to understand this, to go to his house in the middle of the night like this, that was real quick. That was real damn quick. So my thing is, if he were still a reliable tool, why did they kill him?
They allowed him to get killed because when these people came to his house, they yelled DEA, DEA. The reason it was so easy for them to go into his house because he has a past of being a drug dealer. He came from a banana field selling bananas out of Haiti, and all of a sudden, U.S. built a story about him saying that he's the best banana seller. He had dirt under his nails already. They've been watching him. U.S. allowed him to be president of Haiti. The Haitians, by the millions, been trying to get him out. Like I said, he has millions. He has a lot of enemies, but U.S. allowed him to get killed. You understand?
Well, certainly the U.S. has his hands all over it. Here's my problem: if the U.S. wants him out, that's your first sign that there must be something there that is disrupting their goals. And I am never going to sit up here and say, if the U.S. wants it, we need to fall in lockstep. I'm like, wait a minute, if the U.S. wants it, that's supposed to be your first sign to say, wait, tap the brakes. I don't know why you want this guy dead, but if you want him dead, he must be doing something right. There must be something significant, correct that he wants to do that you want to hurry up and stop him from doing. So I hear what you're saying, brother, and everybody can keep repeating he's a puppet, this, that, and the other. He was this, that, and the other. Okay, but if they killed him, it was because he must have been doing something right. Or he was threatening to do something right. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. I don't blame people for being suspicious. I'm not going to sit up here and defend the guy. I'm not here to do that. What I am saying is, brothers and sisters from around the world, we are too old to not recognize this. If they went to work this quickly to kill this man, if they wanted him dead, folks, if he was bad for Haiti, they would keep him there for the next 1,000 years. They only killed for them to do something like this? To do something like this? That is because you're bad for them, not because you're bad for Haiti. For them to go to these extremes and to go to these lengths, no, you're bad for Haiti, not for them. I mean, you're bad for them, not for Haiti. You might not be the greatest thing for Haiti, but whatever you want to do, you bad for us now, and you got to go. Caller from area code 504. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, caller from 504 is distracted. Caller from area code 213. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, you got your speakers on behind you there. Folks, be ready. I know some of y'all might have some immigrants calling in here tonight, but do not call in if you're not ready to speak. Caller from area code 901. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Brother Red out of Memphis, Jason Black.
Brother Red out of Memphis, what's on your mind?
I do not want to insult the audience, but I have heard some rambling of some butter biscuits tonight, or people with a low political education IQ. If you do not understand how the United States get down, they need to watch the documentary on the History Channel about the forming of America, where the President Polk sent the agent to California to stir up problems amongst the people, to have the people rebel against the Mexican government, and they sent troops down to the Texas border and was progressing upon the Texas Army till they got fired upon. And he went to the Senate and said, we need to declare war. The Mexicans have shown an act of aggression. So hold up. You progressed upon another foreign territory army until one of y'all troops got shot. Then you jumped up and screamed victim and said, that's why we need to go take Texas and California. So I say that to say this. The people from Haiti or have ties to Haiti who keep saying that Moïse was bad and he was installed by the United States government, please wake up and see this. Y'all need to pay attention. Yes, he was installed by them for the business structure. Haiti sits upon gold, natural gas, and oil that they cannot sell and trade because they are sanctioned by the French and by the rest of the white European world. So they have goods that they cannot trade for rebelling. That's what you get. That's the price to pay when you want to be black and free and you want to govern your own land. Now you got all these damn spoils and riches you can't do nothing with. So what happens? Callers out of New Orleans, the Levi Strasberg or something like that, the dude who owned Levi's, they made out of Haiti. The business class of America is tied up in Haiti. I think they're paying them like 60 cents a day to make Levi jeans. All right, the president of Haiti dead. Why that damn Levi's factory ain't shut down? Because he was installed by America to be the businessman, the black business face of Haiti. But why did he die? You asked the interesting question, Brother Black. You just tried to nail it home and tell these people, if they just killed this damn man like that and shot his wife, it wasn't because he was doing the interest in the bid in the United States, It's because when the United States leverages economic power and say, hey, we need to start running your country, we need to start dictating this. He probably told their ass straight up like this, Jason Black. Now we get money together, yo, we doing business, but I ain't finna let y'all run my country and I ain't stepping down. And they say, you ain't gonna do what? You heard what I said, I ain't stepping down. Dude who run Levi's, he hired them damn hitmen. Because if anybody have any political education, all of our tax dollars is being used and budgeted under certain names. Operation Black Lion, Operation Goldface. These are missions that you don't know nothing about. They are classified hearings where they go and discuss what this money user for. So when he said no, they just black marked the money off to some damn mercenaries and put a hit out on them. So they came out in public like they always do. We support the president of Haiti. We support the president of Haiti. All the while they went, closed, locked the door. Hey man, dude talking about he ain't finna turn his damn country over to him. How we gonna get his ass up out of there? All right. 2 of the men that they obtained from the hit was from Florida. They was black men, but they had a Haitian lineage. So they planted them over there, had them sneak into the security detail, and the rest of the Colombians came in and pulled up with the bullshit. Like, please, my people, wake up. Y'all need a higher political education. Y'all need to pay attention. After the president died, the Supreme Court justice was supposed to succeed him. The United States took care of that months ago. His ass died from COVID. So now you have a island sitting off the coast of America that doesn't have a government because the prime minister, right after the president died, the U.S. all on the cable news network said that Haiti needs troops. They need troops. The United States is doing this right in front of our damn face.
Well, they've been saying that for months now. I mean, understand something. They've been saying that for months now because if you all remember, they've been talking about there's unrest in Haiti now for months and months. They've been having all the news. Oh, Haiti is descending. This is way before the president got killed. They've been saying this now for the better part of 7-8 months. Oh, there's chaos in Haiti. It's getting worse. Folks getting shot and killed every damn where. And now this culminates in the president being killed. So what does that tell you? Think about that for a few moments. When the United States government wants to foment revolutions in places, what do they do? What is the modus operandi, the standard procedure that they use? First, they try to sow political unrest. So we try to see if we can get another party to be popular enough to get you out. Problem. If what you're doing ain't really in the interest of the people, they ain't gonna go along with it. So you can put that on CNN, but the folk who actually live in Haiti are gonna be like, yeah, we ain't with that. So what's the next thing you have to do? If political unrest doesn't work, we go to civil unrest. So there's some criminal elements, and we gonna throw a little money out there on them streets, and it's gonna make it do what it do, and some folks are gonna be out there tearing things up. We witnessed this happen in Libya. We witnessed this happen in Egypt. We began to witness this happening in Iran. Now remember, Iran watched this happen in Iraq. They watched it happen in Libya. They watched it happen in Egypt. They watched it happen in Syria. And it was what they called it the Arab Spring, but they should have called it the CIA Spring because that's what was going on. And the CIA, what they did was they got college students. This worked out wonderfully back in the 70s to a large degree, but just not for America. But what they did was in these places, they got young kids, college students, who were not emotionally or spiritually invested in, the cultural ways of their country and say, hey, y'all need to be more like us. And they're the ones who took to the streets. And this is why it was so important to Iran to crack down on that immediately, because Libya allowed them to go in the streets and demonstrate. Next thing you know, they were challenging the military. Next thing you know, Gaddafi's arrested and dead. They allowed it to happen in Egypt. They took to the streets in Egypt, faced off with the military. Next thing you know, Hosni Mubarak, who had been a friend of the United States for so long, next thing you know, he's in prison. So Iran specifically said, we saw you do these velvet revolutions in Syria, in Egypt, in Libya. We saw you do this there, and we're going to crack down on it from the very beginning. Ain't going to be no demonstrations. Ain't going to be no nothing, because we know who's funding you all. We know who's really got you out here. Now, when you get to CNN, they're going to tell you, oh, it's spontaneous, and if you would just let them be free. Okay, but the truth is, we know who's really causing this. So when you tell me there's demonstrations or unrest in a black nation, I start saying, okay, I recognize this playbook. So if you can't get them out politically, and if you start seeing if you can get outside elements to civil unrest, and if he still won't go, then we see if we can get somebody to knock him off. Because whatever it was we told him to do, there was something, when they put in a puppet, that puppet is put in specifically to do something. He's put in specifically to do one thing, and that's usually what happens. In the Middle East, when they install a puppet, his job is one thing. Tell our local oil companies they ain't drilling the oil anymore. We're going to let these American companies do that. And that's all his job is to do, is get the hell out the way so we can get at them oil wells. So in Haiti, whatever was the central job he was there to do, he either stopped doing it, he either didn't do it, from the beginning, or somewhere along the line, he stopped doing it, or he made it clear he wasn't going to do it. And I think when you follow this, I know the playbook. I know the pattern of behavior. I've seen this before. If we investigate this long enough, some folks going to start talking and be like, yeah, there were some things that they wanted us to do, and he wasn't going to do it. And what I'm saying is America's fingerprints are going to be on it. But first and foremost, I want to take a look at some other actors. America helps, but I want to see what France had to do. I want to see about that, because there was somebody's bidding he wouldn't do. It was either America or France, but there's somebody's bidding that they sent the word and he made it clear, yeah, I ain't rocking with you like that. And they were like, okay, we got to get him out now. We can't wait for an election. Understand that this will be having elections later this year, and we can't wait for no election, because he might get reelected or somebody he wants to. No, we ain't waiting for no election. He goes now. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. A lot of avenues, a lot of elements to this. Caller from area code 954. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Rondé from Florida, brother. Thank you very much. And these brothers that just called in previously.
Rondé, where in Florida are you calling from?
Actually, Hallandale. I left Hawaii to come back here. The thing is, brother, is that what did Clinton and George Bush do for Haiti? And Haiti would have never have gotten that whole island, Dominican Republic, Hispaniola. They would not have gotten any backing like Cuba did, which is what they really wanted that to be like, and Vietnam. The white boy wrote this book called Confessions of an Economic Hitman, because I learned that from black media here in Florida. Andre Michael Eggleston. I don't know if you're hip to him. Thieves in the Temple, where the right went wrong and national security and left too.
Folks, don't do a bunch of name dropping and book dropping and things. That's not what we're here for. Caller from area code 702. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Jason, how you doing, man? This is Les calling from Las Vegas.
Les from Las Vegas. What's on your mind?
I talked to you before, man. This is take this from a Air Force veteran, somebody that had Air Force security clearance. Everybody, at least I know, the people that I know, everybody knows whose hands is on this, whose fingerprints this is. This has nothing to do with the United States. It's China. China is flexing their power. They're showing you their power around the world. This is about Haiti's relationship with Taiwan. And China is making a move for everybody in the Caribbean who has diplomatic relationships with Taiwan. They have warned them to end them and establish relationships with Beijing. They have not done that. They've been warning them for years to stop. They're trying to take over Taiwan. And anybody in the Caribbean, because it's mostly Caribbean countries that recognize Taiwan, they are putting the pressure on it.
Okay, brother, here's the only reason why I would discount that. Because Haiti doesn't have, Haiti, being a friend of Haiti, it's not like Haiti is a superpower. So, brother, I got to say, I understand what you're saying, but and certainly we should certainly leave no stone unturned, but it isn't like Haiti is some big benefit to Taiwan. They're a big benefit to the European powers and America, but brother, they're no benefit to Taiwan. They're not.
The Chinese are trying to end anybody who has domestic relations with Taiwan.
Okay, but brother, Haiti, okay, but they haven't, so they haven't assassinated any other heads of state anywhere, just in little old Haiti?
Look at the Taiwan and read the Taiwan newspapers. Okay. The first article after the president was assassinated from Haiti, the ex-ambassador of Haiti is saying, don't worry, despite the president's assassination, our ties with Taiwan are stable.
Well, yeah, brother. That's because the killers jumped over the fence to the Taiwan embassy over there and stuff.
No.
I get what you're saying, brother, but I'm just saying.
No, but I'm gonna say this as a military man. The people that
I'm going to say this as the host.
People.
I understand what you're saying, brother. I'm going to need to see a lot more evidence because strategically, that makes no sense. It doesn't. Thank you very much for giving us a call. They didn't assassinate anybody else's head of state. Little old Haiti. Okay, and that wins you what strategically? There are a lot more significant people that they could have assassinated. But look, we'll leave no stone unturned. We're going to leave no stone unturned. But yeah, going to need a lot more evidence before we do that. Call of Mary Code 301. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Nicole calling from Prince George's County, Maryland.
Nicole from Prince George's County. What's on your mind?
I just wanted to say, you've said on, many times before that you're not psychic. You just understand America. You understand the history of America. That's why you have, like the last caller that called in, Sergeant Mayo, talking about, trying to take our attention off of what we really know is going on. So now you'll see the act, they're going to roll out the act, just like the last caller mentioned about, they want to send troops over there. So slowly they're going to make their way, through, and next thing you know, they're, like he said, they're going to, they've taken over the Haitian, taken over the Haitian government to, strip them of their resources. This is what they do. This is how wars are started. This is how this is what they do. So don't be a fool and, try to come up with all of these scenarios. That they love that. They want you to do that. You're playing right into their hands when the criminal and the crook is looking you dead in your eyes. So you gotta be smarter than that. And that's all I want to say.
Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get call of Mary Code 813. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Gardy from Orlando.
Okay. Caller from 813 is slow on the draw. Caller from Mary Code 201. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yo, Black, what up, man? It's me, Pat, from Coastal, New Jersey. I called you before.
All right, Pat, what's on your mind?
Yeah. Yo, I can tell you what's really going on, man. The USA got nothing to do with this. It's not what you think, man. Let me tell you what's really going on, man. What's going on is you got little gangs and you got regimes that's going on, and they're going against the president because the president has not been treating the people in Haiti. So what's been going on is you got a whole bunch of gangs, and they're going against the president. And what happened was there's a dude named Barbecue. He was the head of the president's crew. So he was going around neighborhoods and burning them and raping women and doing mad massacre. It was in Port-au-Prince. He went to La Sion, and he went to Tokyo, and he went to Bel Air, and he just ravaged the village, and they did terrible things. Now, the president, he's down with the USA. Now, he had disagreements with the USA, but he still was a puppet. The USA is shocked, and they're not happy that he got killed. You know what I'm saying? So this was a straight-up civil war by the Haitians. So what they did was all the little local gangs, what they did was they got together, they put the little money up, and they went and got outside sources, a bunch of Colombians, and they got a bunch of American Haitians, and they got them. That's what it was. There was no conspiracy, what you guys think it was, B. I'm telling you right now, this is what the ground sources from Haiti is telling me, my family out there. That's basically it. That's basically it. Not much, nothing more.
Okay. I can understand why some people would say that, and I'm not going to discount that. But, brother, they got plenty of killers right there in Haiti. Why would gangs in Haiti need to outsource something like this? And it's not like they got the resources to do it properly anyway. Okay, so the first question. Okay, here's my real issue. Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Your answer the first time around should have been able to very easily address that, because there's no way you make this Columbia connection without explaining why they wouldn't just do it, put the work in themselves, when that's traditionally how it gets done. So why in the world, out of nowhere, they outsource this not to 5 or 6 Colombians, but over 24?
30.
Why? Why are they outsourcing it all of a sudden?
Because the gang that's under the president, some dude named Barbecue, he runs about 3/4 of Port-au-Prince. So he literally, there's like little pockets that's trying to fight back. but it's a whole regime change. That's basically what it is. It's little pocket games in Haiti because the game that the president.
Okay, brother,
supports
that is all the more reason why he doesn't have to outsource nothing. He got plenty of hitters to put in the work himself. I asked you a straightforward question, and rather than answer it, you went off and deflected already, which severely undermines your theory.
I'll
give you one. I'll give you one more. I'll give you one more shot at the ring, brother. With so many resources, and historically they put in their own work. Why is it out of nowhere he's going to contract dozens of Colombians when he's got plenty of operatives sitting around him now?
No, bro. The president has all the power. His regime has all the power. These gangs were just local bandits that clicked up. That's why they have to go outside. They have no power. There's no power in.
They have enough power to get women. They have enough power to get Colombians to knock off the president, but they don't have enough power to do it.
Haitians and Colombians got a very great relationship.
Okay, sir, but there's way more Haitians readily available to do their bidding. Why they got to go overseas? They're sitting right. They got plenty of hitters sitting right there.
My man, Barbecue was walking through the Haitian neighborhood and saying, I didn't do nothing. The same neighborhood that he burnt, and they said nothing. People are scared, shook. Only a few people are willing to stand up. That's basically what's going on, literally.
All right, brother. I'm doing the math on it. I'm trying to do the math. The math ain't working.
Yo. Listen, Barbecue. Look up the name Barbecue. He's shutting stuff down. He's
brother,
doing it under
barbecue,
the so it wasn't really the
brisket, filet, baked. Okay, the bottom line is if he's holding like that, he got hitters in Haiti. What you're saying is a logistical nightmare. You only do that if you've got resources to burn. This is outrageously inefficient. A bunch of people who are not under his command and control, but he's going to outsource it to him. You're saying he's too poor and too uninfluential to do it himself, but he's flush with resources to be able to get dozens of Colombians to do it for him. So which is it? Is he powerless or powerful? He would have to be one or the other.
It's not one person. I think you're mistaken, bro. I'm talking about the people who went against the president.
Once again,
you know what I'm talking about?
Okay, once again, what you are talking about is a logistical boondoggle. Thanks, but no.
All right, buddy.
Thank you very much for trying. Thank you for playing. But folks, come on now. I know everybody's trying to think it over. You know what this really means? What it really means is this just kind of tells you, especially with the Haitians, this kind of tells you how reluctant they are to look at the white colonial powers. Psychologically, they're afraid to look at the white colonial powers. Just like the United States didn't want to believe that the Italian mafia could knock off a president, these guys don't want to take a look and say, hey, we never dealt with those white colonial powers. We never dealt with that. And because we never dealt with that, they still got the ability to hit at us. So, I mean, they talking about China. They talking about street gang. All right, bro. All right. Caller from area code 804. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
How you doing, Mr. Jason Black? My name is Kendall from Richmond, Virginia.
Kendall from Richmond. What's on your mind?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I remember when Mr. Hillary Clinton laughed at killing Gaddafi. Gaddafi was trying to do one unity currency for America. I mean, not America, for Africa. And they was like, hell no, you will break our economy. And that's why they killed him. He wanted to do African, like we do a U.S. currency. He wanted to do that for Africa. And they was like, hell no, you will break our economy. And that's all I wanted to say.
All right. Some folks are calling in to be heard. I'm going to start cutting folks short tonight. People, we're not calling in just to be heard. Caller of Miracle 571, you're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Jason? It's Dwayne from Baltimore.
Dwayne from Baltimore, what's on your mind?
Yeah, like while I was listening, to the podcast, the broadcast, I was looking at this article back in 2012, where after the earthquake, they found, like the brother said earlier, a lot of minerals and lithium and like 20 billion just in that little spot. So Canada and America was
on them. What the hell does that tell you? When you're telling me
exactly,
when you are sitting here publishing, the operatives who did the hit, they got guns and money, U.S. dollars. At that point, someone's supposed to click for you to say, okay, there it is. There it is.
And then look who they associated with. Like you said, back with the Tom Cruise, the guy when they were with the CIA down in Colombia, they've been had, nobody has a stronghold. They put in, after they took Pablo out, they put in all kind of cartels. So they still, and when America take over, because I was in the military, I was in the Navy, and when America go to your country and they invade, they don't leave. I mean, I think we still got bases in Germany. You know what I mean? For what? So they got the dirty Colombian drug dealers that they put in and all the families after they topple Pablo, because people forget Pablo went against the CIA.
Well, an empire must have beachheads and operatives. So absolutely. Thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Signal's a little bit janky here, but don't worry, we're going to make it do what it do. So don't worry about it. I'm not going anywhere. When the program is over, you will know, but the signal may be a little bit janky, but we're all right. They're going to try to keep us quiet, but we're going to still get through anyway. Let me get caller Mary code 857. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brother Jason. This is James from Massachusetts.
James from where at in Massachusetts?
Boston, Massachusetts.
James from Boston. What's on your mind?
So, Jason, as a Haitian American, having a lot of insight in regards to the situation in Haiti, I definitely agree with the analysis, and I can give you some more intel. I don't know what the other brother was talking about in regards to Barbecue, who was, he's a gangster, right? But, at the end of the day, as you said, if you got all that muscle, you can do that internally. From what I've been told is that Jovenel had a lot of issues with a lot of the elite and obviously the elite are an extension of the United States. So before he was assassinated, there was a warrant for one of the, I forget who the gentleman's name is, but he actually controlled a lot of the electricity in Haiti. And because of that, Haiti doesn't run electricity 24/7. It's just being milked by whoever this gentleman is, and he's raking like something, an estimate like $20 million a month, and still getting subsidized by U.S. government, right? So that's one aspect of it. Another aspect is, I've been told from some of my friends in Haiti that Jovenel actually had an agreement with Turkey in regards to creating some energy efficient, I don't know if it's nuclear or something electrical, right? In the sense of
here's the issue I have with some of these things. I understand some of y'all who have Haitian roots. I can understand why you would look at these things. But let me just say something here, bro. You don't send a hit squad of 30 damn people for a blue jeans plant, to protect a blue jeans plant, to protect a power plant, to protect a $20 million contract, a $100 million contract. You don't overthrow governments to protect a contract. You overthrow governments so you can take control of the whole damn pie. They didn't knock off Saddam Hussein to get a $20 million contract or a $100 million contract. They knocked him off to get control of the whole damn shebang. They knocked him off to get it all.
Of course.
So if somebody is knocked off a president, a sitting elected leader of a country, if they knocked him off, it is because they want control of the whole thing. So what I'm saying is think much bigger. think much bigger than a blue jean plant, a power plant. They want to change one of the basic core principles, operations of this country, whatever. They want to change that. So there is something fundamental about Haiti that it was fundamentally doing, or they were afraid was about to fundamentally change. And that was what killing him would do. So what I'm saying is think much bigger. Think much bigger than, well, there was a plant and some of these folks mobbed up with this, and then no, this is about an entire economy, not just one or two deals within it. This is about controlling the whole thing, about controlling the politics, about controlling where the politics will go for 100 years. Remember, in Afghanistan, it wasn't about controlling the politics for a decade. It was about controlling the politics for the next 50, 100 years. In Iraq, same thing. It wasn't about controlling the politics for a decade or so. This is about controlling the politics for 100 more years. Same thing in Libya. We can go down the list. So I would say I understand when you all are taking a look at those things, and I'm not saying that they are insignificant, but what I am saying is that ain't what this is about. When you send in this much, when you expend this much resources, you want something a lot bigger.
No, I definitely agree with you, Jason, on that, because one of the issues that was very apparent when Jovenel took power was that all of a sudden all these gangs were getting released out of prison. And then you had all of a sudden the police were going against gangsters or some military, the remaining amount of military left because of pay. Like all these different type of discrepancies were really getting out of control. And then even now, where I live at, a little small town called Giddo, like it's one of the safest towns for so many years. All of a sudden now I'm hearing, oh, they gangs, you can't even walk through the neighborhood. And it was real strange. And now we have the assassination of the president. And I wouldn't be surprised all of a sudden once, the U.S. gets gets full control the way they want it, everything gets back to semi-normal.
Oh, that's the way it always goes. Once they step in, it's, see, we're here. Everything's quiet. Everything's fine now. Aren't you glad you let us in? Now everything's fine. Nothing like what it was back when you were trying to run it, because you can't run the place. But let us run it. Hey, everything's great. Everything's fine. Take a look at all the people here. We're going to bring down some rappers even. We're going to have some rappers shoot some music videos. Everything's fine. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get a call of area code 213. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
The windows and stuff.
Okay, he is otherwise distracted. Call of area code 601. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Feel Good calling out of Mississippi by way of Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Feel Good calling out of Milwaukee. What's on your mind, brother?
Man, look, not changing direction, but I heard, and I got this online, that the president of Haiti was changing the constitution to stop white people from owning land. And I think that may be one of the reasons. I think it may be multiple things, but it definitely looked like USA is the number one culprit. But did you hear anything like that?
Not specifically. I know that they were getting ready to make changes to it. So I do know that they were getting ready to have a referendum. So that is, yes, that is true. They were getting ready to have a constitutional referendum. When something like that comes up, of course, and there's plenty of time to have all kinds of things occur. So I'm not ruling out some of those things. From a basic standpoint, yes, you certainly want to know what you're going to be dealing with. And certainly if I were the European powers, if we're going to have fundamental changes to the Constitution, things that are going to be baked in for the long term, well, yeah. Oh, absolutely. If you're talking about, remember, when you're talking about constitutional changes, these are going to be things that are going to be baked in for the long term. For the long term. So, yeah, if there's whistles, or like, think about things like right now. If there were any things talking about a change to the American Constitution, with so many black folk talking about reparations, do you really want to hold a constitutional convention right now? Do you really want that? I mean, think about that for a few moments. Would you really want to have a constitutional convention at a time like right now, with even that being in the national discussion? Think about that for a few moments. So, yeah, while they do have that going on, is it possible? Unfortunately, anything could be possible. And if you're the long-term European powers and whatnot, yeah, you're worried that something could be baked into the cultural system now, which is what constitutions do. Now, that's, like I said, the previous callers kind of didn't touch on it as much as you have. But yeah, that could be a reason right there. Like, what if he's playing ball and everything else, but he ain't moving on something particular we want him to move on? And if they put this in the Constitution, this could derail our plans either today or at some point in the future. It could.
Yeah, I actually seen a report on YouTube, but they were speaking in French, and I couldn't understand it. But they was saying, the translator was saying that it was like white people just outraged that they was taking land from white people, and it was just it sounded like, you know, just another reason. Like, probably he did everything that the United States wanted him to do, and then he wasn't playing ball no more. So, you know, I just was wondering if you had heard anything. I appreciate you, brother.
Well,
keep doing the hard work.
No, I mean, yes, there are things about that. I know they wanted to deal with some of the citizenship laws there. I looked that up real quick just to make sure about that. One of the things in particular is that you have to have lived in the country for 5 consecutive years prior to the date of general elections. They want to change. There was talk about changing that specifically because they were concerned about, of course, you know, folks being sent back from other places with all kinds of ideas. Now, whether that was like intended for like a Wyclef Jean or something like that, whether it was intended to block that or not, I can't say. But yeah, I am saying when you start talking about things like firmly writing it into the Constitution, understand, for black folk, they want our identities to be very, very fluid. They want to make it where anybody can be an African.
What you mean?
They want to make it where anybody can be an African.
Oh,
Chinese folk can be Africans. But when it comes to controlling what white folk are, they want to make sure, we're going to limit that. No. You don't get to do that here. So just understand that they get real strict about that. Where black folk are, they want us to be real liberal about that. You know, they want to be real liberal about who gets to do that. So, yes, when you are taking a look at bedrock fundamental changes, when you're taking a look at the Constitution allows people to define what is Haiti, who is Haiti, what does it mean to be a Haitian, and those when that becomes the subject of discussion, yeah, that is something important to keep in mind. When that becomes the topic of discussion is, well, what does it mean to be Haitian? What does it mean to be a Haitian? That's the thing that's the kind of thing I take a look at. Now, those are big things. Those are the kind of big ticket items I'm talking about. Like, if the Haitian Constitution is rewritten in such a way that it's seen as being hostile to France. Oh, well, we got knock this nigga off. If in any way, if there's any wording in there that could be interpreted as hostile to France, do you let this Constitution be written? If you're France, do you let this go?
Yeah,
that's the thing. When I say it like that,
that sounds like the white supremacist playbook.
I'm about to say, how does it strike you then when I say it like that? So like I say, I really can't tell you for certain because, quite frankly, I haven't looked into specifically. Like I say, I don't think they have a draft of it. I think what they're doing right now is talking about what they wanted to do. So I'm saying I think right now they're in the ideas stages, not this is what we're going to do, or this is my outline of what I want it to be. It's just some general things in particular that some folks have talked about, but I haven't seen anything specifically that said, I haven't seen anything specifically says this is a draft of it, because as far as I can tell, there isn't one. Right now, they're just talking about it. What I'm telling you is that that's not a very pleasing environment for some people. Some folks are not very pleased about that environment. An environment where you're even discussing, for you to even be discussing this, because understand something. If you're France, do you want Haiti drafting a new constitution without you having a seat at the table? Think about that for a few moments.
Oh, no. No, absolutely
if
not.
you're France, you don't want there to be a discussion of anything until you guys see the table. And you want to be right there to say, wait a minute now, let me see, this is a good idea. When it's said like that, then I think it strikes people a little bit differently, and then you start to recognize, yeah, that could go anyway. But yes, citizenship requirements. What does it mean to be a Haitian? How do we define being a Haitian? Yeah, I mean that is something that apparently they were getting ready to go over. And what I'm saying to you is I think there was more concern about black influences. I think they were more concerned about black influences, and that for the first time ever in a very long time, you may see a situation where Haitians are they're beginning to get to a situation where they want to define being a Haitian by their own standards. That's the kind of thing that I would take a look at. They want to define this by their own standards. And if you are Western powers, you are very, very worried about that.
I also saw, and I'm not going to keep you on the phone that long, I also saw where Haiti got the most gold and the most silver in what we're going to quote unquote call the Americas. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that. You know, that's interesting by itself.
Well, you know, certainly having gold is nice, but you live in a world of fiat currency, so gold is obsolete. But what you do want to have are precious minerals, resources, things that can actually be used. And if you're a person or a nation sitting on resources, gold tends to be something that really distracts people a lot. But let's just be totally honest. Gold, since it's no longer a holder of value for nations, we live in a fiat currency system. The real thing is who's got resources. And if you are a poor country that's sitting on resources and can easily be knocked off, that's the kind of thing you take a look at. So like I say, I am not discounting internal strife. I'm not discounting that. But what I am saying is for something like this to allow this many outsiders to come stepping in, that's the kind of thing that I would want to take a look at. For to have this many organized outsiders flooding into it. Brother, that's an invasion force. I mean, let's just call it what it is. That was an invasion. Exactly. That was an invasion. And somebody sent y'all to be their hitters, but that was an invasion. And what I'm saying is when we discuss it in those terms, I think it comes off a lot more seriously.
Mm-hmm. And the other thing that's interesting is they pretty much was caught by the neighborhood. The hood came out and got them people and ushered them to the police.
For a president that the white media will tell you was not very well liked. He was so not liked that
exactly.
He was so not liked that you didn't want there to be another election, and the whole community came out and hunted down the killers. He was just that unliked.
Right. This is just you couldn't write this as a Hollywood script.
Yes, just understand that there's reasons for that. There's reasons for that. And I would be the first one to sit up here and tell you, okay, I want you to understand, when you see this much going on, that's your first clue that something's wrong. That is your first clue. Something's wrong. But yes, we should leave no stone unturned, and there is a lot to be said in that regard. Thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get call of Mary Code 216. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello, Brother Jason. This is Brother Mark from Cleveland. Oh man, you're hitting it on all cylinders tonight. But one situation we have to bring up is the Panama deception when the United States went down and got Manuel Noriega out of power when he did not do what the United States wanted him to do. I'm going to leave it there, and I'll take my answer off the air, sir. Thank you, and be one.
Black First Brother, thank you very much for giving us a call here tonight. Let me get caller from area code 813. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Caller from area code 813 has been abducted. Caller from area code 267. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Okay, sounds like you're being mugged right now. Do you need assistance?
Hello, can you hear me?
Stop asking, can you be heard? What is your name? Where are you calling from?
I do apologize. My name is Timmy. I'm calling from Upper Darby.
The inimitable Timmy from Upper Darby. What is on your mind? I can't wait to hear this little gem tonight. Okay, you're fumbling with your phone too much. Call us back when you get a phone that doesn't have a cord on it. Caller from area code 786. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, Negroes tonight are calling in and do not have their phones in their hands, and that's too bad. They'll have to call back next weekend. Caller from area code 832. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Dwayne calling from Little Rock, Arkansas.
Dwayne from Little Rock, what's on your mind?
I just want to say I agree with you. I think it was a hit. They want to control the entire country, the minerals, and everything else. And this has been going on since Toussaint. Nothing's changed. Be one.
Black First Brother, thank you very much for giving us a call tonight. Let me get caller from area code 443. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Okay, everybody tonight is sitting on their phones. We're going to take a few more calls before we wrap things up if folks ain't ready tonight. Let me get caller from area code 404. You're on live with the Black Channel. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is AT calling in from Lagos, Nigeria.
AT from Lagos, soon to be here in the next 20 years, one of the largest, most inhabited cities on earth. As a matter of fact, I think I read something that said a population of 80 million, which would just be absolutely astounding, even by today's standards. It would make New York look like a suburb. But in any case, brother, what's on your mind?
As on the African continent.
All right, brother, what's on your mind?
Yeah, so with Haiti being a failed state, what do you think would happen to other countries in Africa who are on the verge of being considered failed states as well in this assassination of the Haitian president? Do you see any implications on the African continent?
Absolutely. I mean, but they've been doing that. So the real thing is about coming back around. I mean, you take a look at Somalia and everything else. Absolutely. I mean, this is the cycle that they go in. They're always trying to tell you that black folk can't run anything. They always tell you that folks being in the streets, okay, you got folks in the street in America and nobody's demanding the assassination or regime change here. Now, isn't that amazing?
Yeah. I mean, Africa has so much potential, so much intelligence, so many resources, just the people. And there's no way in hell you can tell me that that nation, especially a place like Nigeria, isn't thriving more than it is. It's poverty. The poverty is so immense here. It's crazy. And having grown up in America and gotten American education and repatriated back and trying to do things as far as like getting roads built and electricity 24 hours, internet, it's just the corruption is just off the chain, and I feel like that's going to bring this country down. Even though some people consider Nigeria and some other countries in Africa to be on the verge of superpower status if we can just get our act together.
Well, Biden had expressed, that they didn't support this Haitian constitutional referendum. So the Biden administration has definitely not been kind to it. They've definitely been hostile to it. You all can go and take a look at that yourselves here, but they've had issues with that. So, yeah, a lot of folk were concerned about that. Now, a brief detour here. You said here in Nigeria. Are you calling me from there now?
Yeah. Yes, I have a dual SIM card phone that I use.
Okay. Very brief aside, because we don't get to talk to folk who are actually in Nigeria very often. So I would like to take this as an opportunity to do so here. Now, you were not born in Nigeria, or were you born there and you've got citizenship in America? Or how?
No, I was born in Atlanta. Both my parents are Nigerian.
Okay, both your parents
are
Nigerian.
By way of them, I'm considered a Nigerian citizen. Yes.
Okay. And how often do you get to go back to the home country?
I go back and forth every 6 months. I try to go back. I have some investments in Nigeria, real estate, mainly. So, and I have kind of an import export where I ship used cars back and forth. So,
okay,
it allows me to have the.
And what is the sentiment towards Black Americans and the diaspora over there?
Well, here they kind of feel like Black Americans specifically are, for lack of better terms, lazy. They have all the opportunity in the world to be whatever they want to be in the world, and they relinquish the opportunities. And as you very well know, when Nigerians come to America, we take over. It can be athletics, academics, business, medicine. Whatever Nigerians come here to do, they take over. And there's people dying to get to America, to get to Canada, to get to some of these European countries, because they know that once they're given opportunity and given the chance that quote-unquote Black Americans here squander, they can do a lot with whatever field they decide to go into and use that money to bring it back to make some change, because the government's not going to do it.
Okay. Well, I will tell you one thing. Nigerians ain't very damn good at excelling in Nigeria. I do know that. I know that the Asians have done very well at excelling in Nigeria. I do know that. I know that the Russians starting to do pretty well at excelling in Nigeria. I can't really show you a bunch of excelling Nigerians. Unless you want to talk about MMA, I suppose. And most of them, once again, are transplants. They're not really historical Nigerians either. So Nigerians have not excelled at getting Nigeria to pop off for Nigerians. Now, Nigerians have excelled at, you want to talk about squandering opportunities, Nigerians are a textbook example of squandering your own country. Now, that I have seen. But no, brother, I really can't. And let me say this, by the way, you're talking to an individual who has some Nigerian ancestry. So I do not say this as a person with an anti-Nigerian axe to grind. But by the way, if we gonna keep it $110, Nigerians really only recently found a place in MMA. I don't really know what they be taking over. Now, they do excel as students at colleges. Can't take that away from them. That's absolutely great. Problem, they got colleges in Nigeria. They're just not able to excel at doing nothing in Nigeria. The only place they can excel is where Black Americans have paved the way. But I can't name a place on this earth where Nigerians got things popping and anybody's trying to get to where they are. So if they excel so much, if Black folk here are the lazy ones, why are they the ones in squalor and trying to leave where they are? But ain't none of us trying to leave here to get there for a better opportunity. We're trying to get over there to help them get that messed up ship righted. So if they really do excel, Someone show me where is the excellence in Nigeria for Nigerians.
I mean, there's a small faction of Nigerians that are doing well for themselves, but you have to essentially link yourself with the right government official or agency in order to get to that point. And most Nigerians don't have the opportunity to even get there because of the bourgeoisie, I guess, if you want to call it. And that's the $1 million question: is how can we end corruption in Nigeria so that the people can thrive the way we need to? I mean, there's people with PhDs who are auto part seller at the market. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be that way. Just the opportunity is not there. And that's why they can find a way to get to a different country.
Right.
They can make it happen.
In America, when we didn't have the opportunities, we took to the streets and got things taken care of within 2 decades. What's the holdup over there?
You're right. I mean, they tried with the inside. The military and the police shot citizens dead in the streets. And
the military, like the military and the police shot black folk dead over here. Still doing it. We still revolting.
Yeah, but the difference.
Okay, that wasn't so great. There goes my hearing. Okay, I think that's going to try to restart there, but once again, like I say, just to make sure that, I keep things in this proper perspective. I just want to make sure we keep things in this proper perspective. I think that's very, very important to do so. Not really sure what in the world is happening here. Blog Talk, for some reason, I don't know what happened there. For some reason, it's messing up on us now. I thought we were doing pretty good, but okay, now you can't reach their site, period. So maybe they got something else going on. I don't know. I'll give them a few moments. Body sits up here and disparages the work that we put in. Until you see a day where we are jumping in boats and we're trying to get where everybody else is, no. Until that happens, no. It can't be. Not going to occur. Not going to occur.